the overall topic of this video is going to be around stop trusting these influencers, content creators. Stop treating everything that they have to say as gospel. I feel like we're at a point now where people are actually taking heed to that overall idea that, maybe a lot of these folks really don't have my best interest at heart.
There's some things that I got to address. Okay. As a leader in this community, I've been building this empire, right? I've been building recession proof, and it's come with a lot of notoriety. Okay. It's come with bigger stages. It's come with a lot of eyes, a lot of attention, and a lot of respect from people who look up to me and take my advice as golden. And for not for 1 second do I ever want to take that for granted. Okay. Recently, I did a interview, right? I'm going to reach a new level. And at every new level, there's new tests and there's new things that's going to come that I have to deal with, that I have to face, and that I'm going to have to deal with head on. Okay. Never tuck my tail and run and act like it didn't exist, or act like I didn't do something or say something that was wrong. Let me go in the context of how these things work and how this whole situation came about when it comes to Navy Federal, with this auto loan check, and realistically how it works and how, I stumbled upon it and why I use it as an example. A few months ago, I want to say end of January, beginning of February, we were going to do a deal, and we were picking up a car from a person that we knew to put it on Turo. As you guys know, I have a full-on Turo course in recession proof. And so I was going to grab the car from somebody, and we went and got a check, right? I teach, you guys know, if you watch my content, I teach people, hey, listen.
And just like that, folks, I've heard enough. If you're actually interested in hearing what the rest of Him500 had to say about this new fraud advice video he has, I'll include a link in the description below. But the overall topic of this video is going to be around what I'm constantly preaching about is stop trusting these influencers, content creators. Stop treating everything that they have to say as gospel. I feel like we're at a point now where people are actually taking heed to that overall idea that, maybe a lot of these folks really don't have my best interest at heart. Now, it sucks because you never truly know what somebody has. Again, all it takes is one bad apple like this to ruin it for the rest of people who actually do have real, genuine financial advice to help you get better at your credit, help you save money, help you actually. The problem with this situation right here is the rise of this scam culture that grew exponentially during the pandemic, where you had more people who were losing their jobs, who were going into bankruptcy, losing their house. And then you had more and more scammers, whether it's the forex gurus, whether it's the credit advice people, trying to really put you even further down because they knew they were playing on your emotions. Right now, this is an emotional time. People don't know what's going on. Unfortunately, people have to go through situations like this to truly understand that just because you like this person on screen, you've developed this parasocial relationship with this person, I believe he's done. I believe he's done, because right now, cancel culture is heavier than it's ever been. It doesn't, all it takes is one time, gone. Now, he might have some loyal people who are saying like, oh, he just made a mistake. They'll have to go through that on their own. Our generation, having grown up in this social media era to where we've seen the MySpace scammers, the Facebook scammers, a lot of people can actually see the red flags, the receptors, and saying like, nah, this is a new one that came. Drop a little $500. Just all it's gonna take is $500 for this course. It's gonna change your life. I don't have $500. I don't have $300. Do not invest more into something that is a liability for you, because they're always going to try to flip it into something like, oh, you can turn that liability into an asset. All it's going to take is this little investment. We hear this term investment and we go crazy, because now we're just throwing this word around now like, oh, I'm investing. I'm investing into this. I'm investing. It's a hot word right now. Investing is a long-term strategy where there are ups and downs. And if you don't have the money to invest, to potentially sit back and say, all right, once I invest this money, I count that as lost. The fact that he was comfortable enough to go on camera on a huge podcast with so much influence. That's just another conversation in itself. Because if you go on $1 Million Worth of Game, you got Gillian Rollo, those dudes have so much influence on their entire audience. Even people who might not be subscribed to them, who don't watch them regularly, when you listen to them speak and the game that they drop, their own personal stories, you start developing that kind of personal connection to them. I wouldn't call it a parasocial relationship, but you start developing that at least connection with them. Like, okay, let me at least hear what they have to say, because they have that gift of gab. Some people just got it to where they can influence the masses, which is powerful and destructive at the same time. Because once you allow a situation like this onto your platform, you're essentially putting all of your listeners at risk. They're trusting you, and now you've brought someone you might support. Now your audience is going to support, but once this person has wronged them, they're going to come back and look at you. People are just yearning for that type of connection, to where like I need help, I need guidance, I'm just yearning for. And when they finally find someone they can latch onto and feel like, yo, this person is going to help me change my life, that just makes it even worse when it comes out to be like that's not the case. Situations like this always have to be talked about. There's always going to be someone out there who doesn't truly have your best interests at heart, who are really just trying to support themselves. Now, if you watch my other video that I'm going to upload, where the real accountant actually reacted to this, and he actually spoke of what we call podcast payola, where you have certain influencers or artists who pay to get on these huge platforms, which is basically like a play to win strategy, which is illegal. It just sucks people had to go through a situation like